it's a game, then we have another game. After that, there's another game, then another game, then another game. I literally have had to be forced to run off to pee in the middle of games because like Wardi won't even give me a break. He says, no, we have to do it for the fans. We've got to keep the games rolling because this is community funded, crowd funded, kickstarted. We're just going to give everyone non-stop action, back-to-back games. So absolutely legendary. Get on there and support if you can afford to, mates.
Yeah, man. We got to get through these games quickly, you know, because I have memories of the War Chest Team League, especially the first couple of days, which were just like 11 hours of just games never ending. Every map was going to 30 minutes. So I'm like, okay, no downtime. That was a goal of this event. Make sure that these games go smoothly as we do kick off into our series. Pig in the bottom left is going to be the Stasis Wardi from KaiZ Gaming. He's had a rough time of it so far, but I think he's excited to play some non-TvT finally. It is Spirit.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to bounce back. He's got that Polish power, no doubt. But unfortunately for him, more agile, you know, not as thick set as Spirit. He's a little bit more lithe and agile, plans out his assassin style, builds with expertise. He is, of course, in the pink, befitting a war pig. This is Ago eSports, a laser.
This was actually a matchup I was kind of happy to see. Because I really think that Spirit, he really didn't want TvT, and obviously that was something that was going to be hard to avoid in your, you know, with your roster. You've got 3 Terran players. So I really try to just avoid the Terran maps for him, give him a non-TvT, because he's had TvT in every single matchup so far. And he got it. He got TvZ, and I believe he can take down a laser. You know, to me, this is a map which I think can go either way. A lot of the time, I think I'd prefer a laser, maybe like 60-40 or so. But again, one map, one best of one, absolutely winnable for Spirit. And, you know, 2K Atmosphere is a very kind of standard in the, you know, middle of the roadmap as well for this matchup, where we see this as like game 3 of best of 3s all the time.
Absolutely. 2K Atmospheres, you know, for me as a lowly noob, I think this is the map where Terran just picks me apart because my bases are too spread out. But the laser's pretty good at locking stuff down. There is that danger. Of course, Spirit, I think, is at his best doing 2 things. Literally playing the greediest shit you've ever seen in your life. And you're just going, are you serious, bro? You need more command centers and ghosts. And the other thing is multi-dropping. I would say his weakness is frontal pushes. I think he gives up sometimes advantages with an ill-timed frontal push or poorly executed. But if he's just dropping you all over the place, it's so annoying. It's really hard, even for someone like a laser to deal with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's not afraid of just dropping so many command centers as well and just starting to take base by base and slowly working through the game. He doesn't do anything in a rush in this matchup, Spirit, so I don't like it. Fast road throwing down from a laser though, so he's going to maybe put on a little bit of pressure very early in this game and then work forward from there. It's going to be kind of fun. Looks like we're waiting for some extra lava before we line up all of the roaches, and laser going to get real aggressive real quick.
Builds all the roaches in the main first, and then uses the money as it trickles in on the natural, because they want those roaches to all time out to hit at the same moment. It's a 9 roach pressure against a 1 marine into Hellion, CC first. Into third command center, Spirit with his trademark greed. Now, you got to feel a little happy that he's building extra marines. Their job is to defend Overlord scouts, but they'll also double up as actual damage dealers in a situation where otherwise he has nothing but workers and Bernie cars. Bernie cars, very shit versus roaches, Wardi.
They're freaking terrible, man. Even worse when you don't even know it's coming. One slow link comes to the front and these Hellions like, oh yeah, maybe let's go across the map. Maybe let's actually see this big ol' link coming at us. Oh yeah, there's some roaches and ravages. He starts up a fusion core, so looking to move into VCs, but that's just going to straight up be a cancel because he's got to defend here and now. He's supply blocked, he's canceling Hellions. I mean, he's building a freaking tech lab. None of this really looks very good for me, Pig.
Yeah, this is really nasty right now. Those roaches are coming on in and starting to smash. They are doing very, very well and starting to get the SCVs. The whole position on the ramp has actually been very impressive. Only lost 9 SCVs so far. I thought this would be worse. Of course, the laser is droning up behind this as well. Banshee is still only halfway done, Wardi. Spirit needs that so badly.
Yeah, that Banshee is absolutely essential to push this back. Marauder popping out will help too, but 16 workers is obviously a lot. He's down by 17, like you mentioned. The laser's just droning behind this. He's got no fear of anything counterattacking because he sees the lack of units from Spirit as Spirit tries to sneak some Hellions on the map, and maybe if they can run by for a little bit of damage, maybe there is some hope there, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, this is Hellion run by. Really needs to get some work done. The Banshee will clean this up, but 18 SCVs is so many. Laser's got some queens, a couple of slow Zerglings. Oh, he gets a bit of a surround. The slow Zerglings surround. The natural predator of the Hellion is the slow Zergling, mate.
The Stasis Wardi's disaster continues already today, doesn't it? No! You know, everything went so good for us in the first series. It was just like we used all of our good luck, and now we're even getting beaten slowlings versus Hellions, man. We're gonna turn it around at some point, just so far it might not be here. Yeah, man, these Hellions all got shut down. Gotta say, great defense by a laser. That was absolutely impeccable, so Spirit's in a crap load of trouble. He's down a ton of workers. He does have double Banshee, and sometimes that's kind of a hope, because maybe these Banshees get like 10 plus worker kills, a laser messes up the defense, but Spirit needs that sort of damage at this stage. Spores
will be out on time. Lair has not started. And those triple mules, as you said, they always give you the chance to come back in it. I personally sometimes like watching Twitch chat while I'm casting games, Wardi, and let's just say there were some ones yesterday where players were completely dead, and Twitch chat was saying, but mules, guys, don't forget. It's like, he is down 120 supply guy in Twitch chat. He's like, excuse me, I've lost games to mules before. Trust me, the Terran is never behind when he has 3 command centers. Yeah, it does make a difference. It equalizes a little, but you've also got to look at the infrastructure. Zerg's on 4 base. Zerg's going up to pretty much everything except the double Evo chamber being down, and the barracks have not started producing yet. They're only now building, which means there's going to be so much free time for a laser to continue this path. And is Spirit building a 4th command center?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a Spirit thing, right? Where he's just like, you know what, I'm very behind. I'm probably not going to do much with pressure, so let's just build another base, and then I'm going to go supreme macro mode. So Laser's going to see this, and he's going to be like, oh, you actually can't... Oh, maybe he doesn't actually. The Marines get here to defend. Nice, because if a Laser sees this, he's just like, okay, mate, you can't do anything to me for like the rest of this game. Whereas at least now, a Laser's got a somewhat respect if extra barracks are coming up instead and that kind of timing. So maybe it's some way for Spirit to draw himself back in here.
Liberators do a good job. They're going to distract and get a few drones. Queens will deal with it. Banshees come back in the main, and they'll grab a couple of drones, but the Spore does get one of those Banshees. Other one's so deep in the red, it's not going to be doing much more this game. Neither will the Liberator. And indeed, Spirit, so he's already got his game plan in mind, as you said. So it's going to be 26 minutes into the game. He's planning to counterattack with 33 ghosts, 12 siege tanks, 6 range liberators, and a few medevacs for support as well. Like, that's literally the only timing he has in mind. It's literally, I will defend and sit behind my wall, and hopefully you can't just roll in with overwhelming numbers. It's all about defender's advantage for Spirit.
No, Spirit's playing the super long con as well, because he knows if he can tire a laser out now, a laser will be tired out for the later match. You know, the more worn out he is, the worse he plays. We want you guys to lose, I think, maybe, so he can maybe overtake you even if we lose this match. I don't really know. Something like that, Pig. Some sort of logic to kind of get us through the standings. Just having a little bit of copium and hopium over here.
Copium and hopium. That's what you need sometimes, mate. You know, get to the copium den. Hang out there with all those delusional people. Fear Dragon, of course, the purveyor of that store. He's always willing to sell you a bit of copium, mate.
I think he's the provider, isn't he? Yeah. He's definitely the copium dealer. Especially with that team he's been rostering. There's just Sealing Ravager going to shut down the drop. Yeah, Spirit can't find a breakthrough point, man. He's walking into rock-solid defense. The only thing I like is that Laser built mutas, which is... You know, I feel like if the laser just goes up to like lurkers or something, what can Spirit do? But going to mutas, yeah, you've got a bit of like a bust timing maybe and some harassment you can add in, but it gives Spirit the chance to have a good defense against them, and it slows down a laser's kind of true endgame army. So maybe I kind of like us playing against the mutas here. Maybe, possibly. I mean, right now they're going to kill a medevac, but I feel I'd like it a lot less if he was playing lurkers already, so...
And Spirit builds more bunkers than any other Terran player. Every matchup, he likes to build bunkers whenever he's going into this turtle mode and just tries to survive. He's kind of what a lot of noobs do with TvT, but he actually does it at an incredibly high pro level where he's like, I gotta defend with the bunkers and the tanks. You know, I think of like those early Brood War levels where it's like, hold off the Zerg. That's what he's trying to do right now. He's trying to stop the flow. He's got to buy time for the evac.
Yeah, well, these Banes are all going to roll in on their own initially, and a lot of Banes went down without really doing much there. Now we're going to get a couple of extra Bane hits connecting, and, well, SCVs hadn't really started to drop for quite some time. Finally, Laser's going to get some of those kills, but quite a lot of lanes going down too, and it's not a bad defense from Spirit. It's workable.
No, absolutely. 1-1 versus 1-1 upgrades there. 2-2 does start up for a Laser, but a Laser doesn't have 100 drone economy. And against a guy who's on 5 command centers, going to 6 command centers now, or 4 going on 5, sorry. Definitely a situation where a Laser is going to need to be a bit more efficient than that. 8 more drones do come in. Still massive map control to a Laser. Those mutas look for the tank, unable to get it. The Marines do stem over. Going in for round 2. Pureling Ravager. It's a very fast army, but there's no Banelings to back this up.
No, there is not. So Marines will be able to turn it around, and Spirit's going to keep a Laser at bay. The few mutas that are over here, only 6 mutas left, really is wild. The fact he actually only built 10. I thought he built a few more than 10, but yeah, he lost 4 previously, and these mutas need to get out of there too. Spirit defends, and if Spirit's defending, then I kind of like it for Spirit. I like it going longer.
I mean, the one thing, he doesn't feel pressure about going a late game, right? Like, that's one thing. There are us players are like, oh man, I don't want to play Ghosts. Like, I always lose when I play Ghosts. Spirit's like, dude, if I could just literally press the skip button on the first 20 minutes of the game, I'd do it every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. As oh no, these Banes are just gonna roll in, get some depots, look for some SCVs. Gonna get rid of that siege tank, which has been causing some trouble in the back lines. But Spirit's still kind of holding on. You know, each of these trades for 5 SCVs, I don't mind it so much. I'm still kind of happy. I'm still kind of okay, because the Laser ain't teching up either. Just 2-2 upgrades, more mutas, more Ling Bane. You know, as far as I see it, Spirit can survive like this, slowly get a 5th base up. It's not going to be easy, because the Laser's going to have freedom to kind of take the map, but yeah, the longer it's Ling Bane muta, the longer I still like it, I guess. And like I say, got a little bit of hope for the Stasis Wardis on the first map still.
Ooh, muta pullback, so sexy there for a Laser. Gets a few depot builders as well. Gary, Bruce, and Bob do go down. Ling run-bys and Baneling run-bys on the front keep going in and just trading little by little. I think Alaze is very happy to do this. He's got a 6th base, but his creep spread has been rather lackluster behind it. And I think this is because Alaze realizes, like, hey, I just need to stop you getting to late game. You're not going to move out for 15 minutes. So he's kind of said, creep is just not a priority at all, because I need to just try and slow you down, stop you now. I've got tens of minutes before you're going to come back in.
Oh, Spirit just turned away from this base. Oh, he turned away from that base like in that moment as well. It's so sad. Bottom right's under fire. I believe the mutas get turned away in the main base at least, but obviously his attempt to take a 5th is going to be denied with 17 SCVs on top of it. No bueno. Yeah. Oh my god, Elisa has 102 drones as well. Jeez, that's some economy.
I mean, a Laser can literally just slingshot units at Spirit. He doesn't need to trade good at all. He does need to take more gas geysers, as his gas count's very low, and he should be going for a hive behind this. Ultras would make this much easier, of course. Ultras are one of the best multi-prong units against Terran, because you do need certain units to deal with them, right? Just a few Widow Mines or Marines aren't going to cut it, and you need tanks, you need Marauders, you need all those big, high damage units. The Laser's looking so solid right now, though. He is large and in charge in this game.
Yeah, I was trying to find a little bit of hope, and I genuinely did, but you look at 100 drones, you look at the economy, you look at Spirit not being able to get a 5th base. If he could get the 5th, I'd be a lot more of a believer again, but that really is the next big challenge for him, and I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to get past that as Ling Bane, Ravager, Muta all come storming in. This command center goes down, so that'll have to be replaced, so that's going to delay the 5th even further. And yeah, we get a lot of Banes, but again, it's just damage being done around the map, and Mutas are trying to get the natural orbital, which, okay, is at least being repaired.
Well, these mutas are being annoying, but it felt like Alaza took some really bad fights. Spirit's going to take this moment to try and counterattack. 7 tanks, 4 Marauders, 41 Marines. I don't think he's really got a window, because Alaza can mass remake Ling's Banes. He's got plenty of those units pumping out. His lava count's very low, though. Alaza did not build macro hatcheries this game. He didn't actually take that many bases. Double drop on the left side. Spirit is actually looking to go for a counter swing in a big way. He's going to get some drones on this base at the very least.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like an all-in push. He's got to win it with this right now, as mutas are going to chase down these medevacs. So there are goners as well. He has to take advantage over on this right-hand side, and the tanks are set up, and Alaza, I don't think he wants to run into that, actually. And he is going to get pushed away. He's going to straight up evacuate the base, which is the right thing to do, Pig, because he doesn't need this base in the long run. He can take it again later. He just needs to survive here and now. Like I say, this is very, very all-in for Spirit.
Well, when you have 100 workers, the right call is almost always to backstab and go around. Don't fight them head on unless they're really shoving deep on creep. And Spirit has such a good setup. Banelings are terrible against this army. So a laser should be sending the majority of his army to counterattack and just leaving some units at home. But notice how Spirit says, okay, well, if you're not going to fight into my tank spread, I'll drop in the main. He kills the spawning pool. A laser has not rebuilt that. Oh no, that could be potentially a game-winning move if a laser doesn't realize, and he does rebuild it now in his natural, but he's losing bases, he's losing a bit of ground. Spirit actually still has 75 workers and a lot of command centers up behind this.
Yeah, if he can just get those command centers into space, right, he needs to get them on location, which he's just not been able to do still. A lot of units running in now, and it feels like Spirit wasn't quite paying attention. His Marines could have joined that fight and made it so much better. He's dealt with the counterattack, though, and, I mean, still alive over here, but down an army supply never really feels good for Terran in this sort of late-game scenario.
18 mutas just came out. This is not the right time to elevate in here. Oh, an anti-timing drop here for Spirit. He's going to lose a lot of these medevacs on the way out. He saves some of the full ones, which is nice, but Queen's pushing forward and breaking tanks. Queens and mutas overwhelming. He is going to counter-push on the left side. He finds 33 workers on a base undefended.
Well, that's definitely an opportunity. He's going to start getting some work done. Lings are running in to help defend this, though. He's actually going to start going for the hatchery. Realizes he can't get it, has to back it up. A single Ling on the bottom side, nibbling at a command center, and Spirit is escaping down the left-hand side. Mutas get rid of a tank on the watchtower. I'm just going to be seeing the Mutas continuing their journey to wreak havoc. I mean, a lot of Spirit's army is gone. He's just not been able to rebuild. I think the lack of a 5th base just means he's not got the mineral patches he needed to even use all of these workers effectively 60 minutes into this game.
A laser has been pretty much our ace player. He did lose one map, his first map yesterday, after getting tricked by DNS, who played a dirty mind game on him. And even then, a laser almost fought back and won that game. But he's back in that driver's seat that he's shown so much in this tournament, where he's just dominating his opponent throughout the game, swarming over. And it feels like a laser is so good at getting ahead in the early game, and then he just rolls over you with massive numbers.
Yeah, this is maybe even going to be it right now. Mutas are diving on the tanks, the units at the front trying to bust on through. Spirit might push this back for the moment, but he's losing bases that he can't afford to lose, and he very much so knows it as well. That is going to be GG, and that is going to be the War Pigs managing to steal away the first map. Pig, I mean, you know, I get it. You guys had to win one, so we'll give it to you early this time.
A Polish team kill. Of course, Nation Wars is coming up in the near future, but we said, let's make him fight right now, here, in the cast of Civil War. So good to see that a laser did pull that one out. Very happy with that, of course. I think this was a rather important match. There's a few that are very important, but this one and our final map were two matches, the two CVTs. Later, of course, Q vs Solar is Game 5, where I was like, dude, this is so important. Yeah, no, I really liked this one for Spirit because it felt like a very winnable game, especially when he didn't want TvT. So it's like, if we can get a laser or nice, and I was like, if I get one of them, I kind of would prefer him to play a laser. I think his TvZ's been looking good lately, right? Yeah, that's just not quite gonna be enough as we get ourselves ready for our game number 2. So that's going to be Nice versus Bjorn. And we'll get that rolling out here in just a few moments' time. Yeah, you know, it kind of felt like a laser knew, oh, I don't see a Reaper move out. I think you're on command center first. I don't even know if the Overlord had confirmed by the time he went for the Roach Horn. It probably had. I think he was just like, command center first. I know what you're going to do in the follow-up. And I've got the counter to it. And a laser's very good at planning that. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it was, I think it was a good build choice, just in general, right? Just put him in a good position, let out where he needed to be, and, yeah, just gonna have to get this game up, so, yeah. A sec. No worries, mate. It's a big commitment. 9 roaches. For those who don't know, it looks so good when you pull it off, and you run into a guy who's just gone straight for his second gas, straight for his Banshee after factory. You get there, and there's a Banshee popping out, and there's like a Marauder on top of the ramp with 6 Hellions and a Marine, and you kill like 5 SCVs, and then there's Banshees and Hellions counterattacking. It's a terrible feeling. So definitely the right choice and the right situation for it, and that's a lot of what StarCraft is about. It's understanding your opponents, what their strategy range is, and understanding, hey, this is a huge risk if I know nothing about my opponent, but knowing what I know, suddenly it becomes a very good gamble to take. Take that to the extreme. You have cheesy bastards like Haas, SOS in his heyday, 2-time world champion, But a laser is more of a you know, a middling player in that regard, where he's like, I know how to hit a good timing attack, I know how to macro hard, and it's always going to be an informed decision one way or the other. Whereas you have guys like Haas, where it's like, which flavor of cheese will work?
Yeah, well, going up against Nice, I'm a little terrified, man. Like, this is an absolute must-win for us. Like, winning all 3 of the final 3 matches is very difficult. So to me, this is already kind of a must-win map. Otherwise, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, asking almost the impossible. Nice and Björn, Pride of Altaris is obviously not really a... You're just stroking your pics.
I was doing it for my stream because I've got like the background and that was a laser's head, and I just realized like, oh, of course I'm doing it on the main stream at the same time. But I'm stroking the pig. I'm saying, good job, piggies. Let's go. Let's go.
Amazing. Love it. All right, we are good to go in game. As soon as my thingy wants to change, everything's misbehaving today, Pig. I tell you, it's just not doing what it's meant to do. There we go.
I love those days. You know, I like to call those Windows Update days as a streamer, Wardi. Those are my favorite days.
Oh, you know it. They're great.
Why doesn't the audio work? Why is everything reset? What the hell? And you're brainstorming, you're text switching, you're trying everything. You're like, oh no, on the 4th restart, everything just fixed itself. Yep. Just no explanation. Yep. What was going wrong? Thanks, Windows.
Mate, yesterday I actually, my files wouldn't load their previews, so I couldn't like see what things were looking like and stuff, and I was just like, it's like the only way I know how to fix this is resetting my stream. I was like, I'm not doing it. Fix yourself. And then 4 hours in, it was just like, oh yeah, we can load some previews. As well, mate, your boy's stealing my gas. What the heck's this about?
Oh, he spots it. It's a proxy reaction. He says, no gas for you, mate. Also, I know exactly what you're doing. So get wrecked. No double gas play for you, mate. You're doing proxy barracks into an expand. You have to. You don't have another choice now. So funneling Beyond into an expand. On the other hand, of course, it's quite expensive for Nice to do that. And he's going to go double gas. Sorry for no intros, by the way. Warpig's top left. Your shitty team, Stasis Wardi's bottom right. It is what it is. We don't need intros. Let's go.
Oh my god, Nice is going to proxy it. This is what I was absolutely terrified of because, yeah, to me, this is just absolutely a way in which Nice can win. Oh, Bjorn's going to put a second racks down, though. I don't know. It really depends what this is going to be from Nice, but I kind of like a second racks at home because it means at least you can have some unit production there. Obviously, the barracks on the map isn't going to help a lot. Oh, I don't know, Pig. I'm absolutely terrified. My heart's already racing. I don't like how this is setting up. I mean, at least Bjorn comes in. He's going to scout a little bit. He's going to try and bunker up in the back of the main. I mean, you can't let that go up as Nice, so going to have to just work around that. Nice. Let's see if he gets out, but obviously bunker doesn't go up, and here comes the Reaper to be annoying, as it is going to be a proxy robo. Oh, I really don't like this.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how it goes, dude. I feel like Immortals coming in is the last thing you ever expect. And
no,
to be fair... Oh
my god.
Oh, it's still very, very bad for Beyond, though, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like, okay, I know I'm being proxied, but... I mean, he is going for a reactor and a bunker.
Oh, Reaper dies. Ugh.
Oh,
okay,
no,
he scouted. He scouted though.
Yeah,
okay.
Proxy though. He does see the proxy. Adept's coming across. There's going to be an Immortal. I mean, obviously, he's going Command Center on the high ground, which is the smart move. The Command Center is very exposed, as are the depots. It's not the craziest fast robo, of course, with all the interactions we've had in the early game. This is still going to be getting really interesting to see how it goes. And okay, we're going to have to figure out exactly which direction it's going to be. The Adept there. He's trying to get these SCVs. Not quite going to get him.
Yeah, okay. I don't hate it because, honestly, this was good micro on Bjorn's SCVs. Keeps a couple of them alive. He's going to work his way through the assimilator so he can get his gas and his factory built a tech lab because he knows it's coming.
Command Center's not building, though. I think he's forgotten to put that SCV back on, and now he can't.
No. It's fine. We don't need a Command Center, Pig. You're all in. Wear one base, and I like it. He's going to... Oh, not kill this out. God damn it. Pro's units are insane, man. Okay, we need to kind of pull the SCVs like right now, though, Bjorn. Bjorn, go, repair.
Get out of there, Nice. Get out of there. Okay. Good pull by Beyond. Nice did not lose any important hit points, though. and he's going to try and pick off from the low ground. The Adepts, of course, very good spotters. Depot will be going down. Beyond's going to have a tank out in a moment, and it's all going to be about protecting that tank. Nice could expand to the gold base behind this, and he's planning to do that, but I think he's got to do it sooner rather than later. A few more SCVs are going down, though. Oh, 3 SCVs are falling. The Immortal wants to get that tank so badly, but Nice wisely puts it back in his pants, and he takes a deep breath, and he says, don't throw my army away. This is still a great contain.
Yep, it's a good contain, but that should be all it is. The depot will go down. Beyond's got plenty of depots in the back, so that's not an issue, especially with the CC finishing up. Marines adventure forward, want to be careful about that. The biggest issue for Beyond here is no starport, right? Because a starport just allows you to push back that prison with a single Viking. Now you don't really have that power. It just becomes a little bit more annoying to really deal with this. The tank getting in range should be an end to the majority of this pressure. I mean, the Adepts are going to shade up. I can't imagine you're actually going to try and dive on top of the tank or anything here.
You haven't met my boy Nice then, have you? Yeah, boy!
That's not
Focus
a play.
those tanks down!
That's not a play, Pig. That's not
YOLO!
a play. That's not a play. That was horrendous. That was not the play. That was what play was that? You did kill an SCV!
Beyond's a wreck. After your opponent does that, you're like, what? Why did he do that? You can't even predict anything in this game now. You're like, if he did that, and this is like that thing where you stab a guy and he smiles as he tears the shard of glass out of his guts. Like, and you're like, oh, he's a sicko. This guy's a sicko, man. He doesn't care about anything. He's crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, the most terrifying part of this is that your player is actually just crazy. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Obviously, Nice is going to recall some probes out to the gold base, which he's taken back at home. So Beyond obviously can't sit around back at home forever, but I mean, if Beyond actually does just get to a point of being able to push here, like, Nice doesn't really have anything. What's he going to do off the Twilight Pig? An upgrade? Sneak a Dark Shrine down? It feels like he needs something as crazy as a Dark Shrine to get back in this, as maybe now this tank in the main is exposed, but he doesn't go for it. Could have maybe got Stim as well, actually.
Oh, not going to be able to get it. Too many Marines there. He actually would have been better off going for the gas and the SCVs down there. Glaives. Oh my god, the Taiwanese special. I love it. Dude, I was watching Hass's stream the other day, and he was glaive adepting Terrans left and right. I was having a good giggle to myself. And indeed, if you're going to go for a desperate all-in, glaives can be very effective. The problem is we've got a reactor on the factory going down, which means Widow Mines will be coming in, and there's already a good ball of Marines with Stim. So numbers-wise, Adepts are all about kind of overwhelming with a surprising number. And as good as the gold base is, I think there's only going to be the most narrow of timing windows where Nice has to like jump on top before shields is done, drag tank fire into the Marines, drop the Immortals on the tanks, and he can do it.
Don't lose Stim,
the engagement needs to be perfect.
We need to not lose Stim because that's very close to finishing. The Immortals are going to come in. Honestly, I really feel like he could have had Stim. Do you think the SCVs can just pull too quickly and so he just doesn't think it's worth it?
Oh, Stim's done. Be careful.
Oh.
Run! No! Oh, thank God. Oh, my Lord. That was so scary, dude. Oh, Jesus.
Bjorn's going to go back into a tech lab on the factory, so he's going to continue with tanks after setting up some medevac production. But yeah, I guess I don't mind it too much because, again, he's going to have a good amount of units. It's not like Nice is going to be able to overwhelm with Adepts. Because like you say, it's like the gold base is nice, but I just don't think it's that good compared to everything else that's happened already.
Yeah, indeed. I feel you, dude. I think the DT Shrine could definitely be cute. There's no third command center. There's 3 barracks, of course. Got to remember there's a reactor in the back of the base. So I think for Nice, you've got to be really sneaky here. You're never going to break him on 2 base. So you've got to hide these units, take a third right now, and keep massing and waiting for the ambush. But the way Nice is set up tells me he's going to headbutt in. And I think he's going to headbutt into a brick wall, Wardi. This is not the way. He's got to wait for Beyond to come out.
Beyond's got a few Marines here, and again, just a Stim to scare this back straight away. We've obviously got medevacs for a bit of healing. These medevac's actually going to go and try and get the Prism, and the units from Nice aren't going to be there to protect it. Oh, Beyond didn't quite find it in time, though, and I think he realizes the attack now, so he's going to set up defensively instead. And that's obviously not a bad thing either, as the Adepts can, of course, still get on top of these units. It's not a full wall, and that might be where the opportunity lies. Beyond's going to run up to the high ground, which is going to give the Immortals a chance, perhaps. SCV's pull. Tanks do big damage immediately on the Adepts, though, and the Bio unit's not going down. And I think that's what you really need here. Without the Bio units falling, it's just not going to be a break.
No, not at all. It's time to go Disruptors, and obviously he's going to try and make some DT Archons and Immortals and stuff like this, do some DT drop fancy plays, but I think Nice really needed to just ease out of these build orders a little bit more, be willing to fake, because Beyond has played so carefully and safe right from the moment he saw the double gas and knew it was a proxy. So as it is, DTs are going to come in, but once again, he kind of does it with, he's trying to force it in a situation where Beyond is playing abundantly careful. So these moves work much better when Beyond's out on the map, when he's actually distracted elsewhere. But right now, I mean, we're so focused on kicking in the door, and finally a third base goes down for Nice, but he's in a very desperate spot.
Oh, Prism dies! Let's go. Oh, that was justice for all those times Prisms have recalled away. Beyond is actually now going to lift up, which is maybe not the time because these Adepts are shading up, and obviously this Observer sees this move, so, I mean, Nice kind of knows that this might be a time to make a play. Beyond is going to drop anyway. Nice only goes with the Adept. I don't get it, Pig. Like, if you're going to send the Adepts in, I don't get it.
Well, you know, Wardi, you've never been there on the Green Mile with Percy running along, banging his little nightstick on the bar, saying, dead man walking, being a right dickhead. But right now, that's all Nice can hear, man. It's such a bad position, and it's been since the first Immortal drop YOLO didn't work out, right? And it's sometimes you're kind of like, come on, man, come out and fight me. And the other guy just, basically, a lot of what you're doing is banking on him being, you know, a little bit more aggressive. He turtles up, and Beyond now with small tactical counterattacks. And look at this. He can always pick up and leave. Blink is not done. There's no real risk for him. And he's like, yeah, I'll just fight you away from the battery. That's fine. No worries. It's all good, man. Come over here. Goodbye, Templar Archives. It's fine.
Yep, charge doesn't matter either, because obviously there's just not enough Zealots for it to be meaningful as Beyond here. Kind of thought about what he was going to do. He should just drop elsewhere. Obviously, the lack of mobility on this army of Nice is really bad, and he's going to have units already running at the goal to warp in there from Nice, so he appreciates what might be about to happen. So, good preparation, but good preparation doesn't always save you. So let's see if these Zealots can be enough. These Marines were actually very heavily stimmed from Beyond, so he was a little low HP starting, but now he's getting into the swing of it, and he looks as though he's going to get the Forge, which would not be a bad pick-off and just leave moment. He doesn't necessarily need to keep on fighting. He's got the drop back into the corner of the main base as well, so that's continuing to kill some workers, as he does have to evacuate elsewhere.
Yeah, great play by Beyond here. Does defend the Taiwanese Terror. And I've been telling that, you know, Nice was a little bit annoyed yesterday. He was like, man, I keep losing. I'm sorry, guys. And I was like, dude, Nice. I mean, you're a great player, and this is awesome. But let's be honest. I have literally, like, put you on top of my war engine. I have put you on the front as the spike on my giant Mad Max bloody truck thing. Like, you are honestly thrown into the worst possible map a lot of the time, or the worst matchup. He's playing Beyond, who I think was your first pick, right?
Yeah.
First pick. He's playing Raynor next, who's also the first pick. And I'm like, look, dude, just play fun, silly styles. I'm like, dude, just have fun with it. Like, there is no expectation of you just winning all these maps, because you're actually often getting the hardest player on the opponent's team, like, repeatedly. So come on, man, just get in there, have some fun with it. And I love that he played a really funky, fun build here on Pride. Part of why we put him here was I was like, dude, just have some fun with it. See what you can do with the gold-based map. And even though, obviously, he took a few bad fights, I love that he brought out a creative style, because that's what you should do when the opponent's favored against you. So really good strategies for him, just obviously running into some very stiff opposition.
Mate, this was exactly what I was terrified of. Something like the proxy, like a gas steal at the start, throwing things into a bit of chaos. I like what Bjorn did with the proxy racks in a way, because, you know, he's trying to take the momentum into his hands. He's trying to make it his game and not Nice's game. But Nice played perfectly against it. I was like, oh no. Because like I said earlier, to me this is one of the very important matches that we kind of have to win. I mean, you know, there's no going. To me, this isn't the 50-50. This is must win, absolutely. So it was a dangerous must win. Yeah. No guarantees, of course.
Well, if Nice builds a Warp Prism right now and puts his High Templar in it, he might be able to do it. Without a Warp Prism, he's massively outscaled. He starts a Warp Prism. He hears, I may secretly be cheating, and I'm on voice with him right now, guys. Just a heads up. There's one guy whose bets have been going wrong for him tonight. He's like, oh, Pig, what the hell, man? But outside of that one guy who's too blinded by his crippling addiction to realize what sarcasm is, obviously I am joking. The Zealot run by doesn't get much done. Nice. Oh, gotta watch out for those EMPs. High Templar, get back, spread. Nice.
Oh my god.
Nice.
No. Oh, it's all the feedbacks. Okay.
Oh my god. That was not meant to work, dude. That was like, that was a crazy move. He's like, I'm gonna walk towards the ghost. I'm like, no way.
You know, I feel like Bjorn there almost like sent the wrong ghost forward initially. He's gonna have the ghost coming in again. This time he's gonna eat a storm still. Has Bjorn like unhotkeyed his EMP button? I feel like every EMP is just so slow to come out. He's gonna find it now as Bjorn has a lot of units, and of course this is just gonna be rough. The storms were just not there, and that's what you were really hoping for, Pig, to turn this around, of course. GG's. Bjorn is going to put the stasis wardies on the board as he's done so many times. He's 4-1 in his matches, so definitely worthy of our first pick, and yeah, doing okay.
A slow clap there. A moving a bunch of men with guns. Wow, tier 1 units. You just get to make them every game. Oh, really hard to play Terran, guys. It's so hard. Did you see the way he A moved the bio? It was really, wow, so skillful, man.
It was great, man. It was beautiful. Did you not see the moment where he A moved the robo as well that you proxied? It was beautiful play.
That was not an A move. That was a tactical YOLO. That was a perfect maneuver. Those immortals unloaded and got their faces blasted off, and they did it proudly and bravely. They were patriots. Respect their memory.
Patriots, if you say so. If you say so. We're going to be diving into another game here. Clem versus Creator. You know, it's Hardwire, and I've seen Clem lose a few games to, like, carriers lately, or when the game goes late in PvT. It's not been perfect for him, so again, I don't hate it. This is your first pick versus my fourth pick. I feel like, yeah, you're favored here, but I feel like this is one of my better chances to take down Clem without risking a solo, without risking a Bjorn, or without risking even like a classic. Yeah, I don't hate it, man. Like I say, I think you might have the upper hand, but it's very possible we take this down.
Yeah, no, there's a few players who got picked up in the discount $2 bin. I think Creator's one of them. People are like, yeah, when you get picked Creator. And then everyone's watched GSL in the last 2 weeks and we're like, we really wish that we picked Creator, man. We may have missed out on a bargain opportunity. God damn it. It's funny as well because Creator is like the guy who's like been most vocal about the patch. He had his whole little rant in his interview where he's like, look, I understand it might look balanced if you're a Platinum Zerg player on the ladder and you might like these changes, but I am a professional player. And it's not fair that you're nerfing my Void Rays into the ground. And then he goes and just crushes everybody, Zergs included. So hats off to Creator, mate. Despite not being happy about the last patch, he's kicking ass.
Yeah, man. He's been looking good. He hasn't had the best of results in the event so far. He lost out to WardiTV, which I think was a little bit of an unfortunate one because that actually kind of lost us the series against the Grubs, with Solo then losing the Skillets after. And I felt like that was very winnable for him as well. So I don't know, just he's had some good moments too. I feel like it's his time here to really shine. Like, if he can take down Clem, this really swings things maybe into our favor a little bit. Obviously, that's a really tough ask, but it's well within his reach. It's possible, you know?
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, Dream Classic after that. I think that's pretty 50-50. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think pretty 50-50. Dream, to me, is a player that shows up and then disappears, and then shows up and then disappears. Sometimes even within the same game. So, yeah, I feel like that's very difficult to call. If it goes longer, the longer it goes, I think the more I like it for Classic, actually. But early game, if Dream just gets like a lead and a momentum swing in his favor, it's tough to break. So yeah, no, it's tough. That's the problem with all the Stasis Wardies matchups, man. We have so many like 50-50 games that, like, yeah, it's just really tough to win full series because the coin flips don't go our way enough. I'm trying to invite someone that's not even online. That's why I'm not working.
Oh my, oh me, oh my. Well, we are getting underway. It's going to be Hardwire, Creator versus Clem. Does Creator have a team right now, by the way, outside of the Stasis 40?
He's still on Team NV, I believe.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah, Maru left,
team,
and the rest of them decided to stay on with the team.
Yeah, right. Maru Onside Gaming now, right?
Yes.
Him and Ryung?
Him and, just him and Crank. And actually Rex as well.
Just him and Crank.
Yeah, Rex as well.
Oh, they picked up Rex.
Player. Yeah. Which is
boy!
very cool.
I love Rex. Rex is really good, man.
It's funny because
Rex is the guy who's he's always like, oh, I'm just a streamer, and then he messes up pros like all the time. He's so good.
I was gonna say it's funny because Rex has been on a team with Maru before because he got picked up by Jinag Green Wings when they wanted to play the Chinese Team League when you had to have like a Chinese or Taiwanese player. So it was.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of funny. He's back with Maru. You know, maybe it was just meant to be. All right.
It's good to see them returning.
In the bottom left side of Hardwire, the Stasis Wardy looking for the upset to give us a big advantage that we really need in this league right now. It is Creator.
Can he actually deal, though, with, in the top right side, he does look very pretty in pink, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's right. It is, of course, Team Liquids and the War Pigs, young Clement. Or just Clem. I remember when a while back I was casting and I'd never actually looked up like in the early days of casting Clem, and I was like, Clem, and then I was like, what's that mean anyway? And then I was like, wait, is that like his human name? And then I was like, oh, is his name Clementine? And I was like, is his name Clementine? And people are like, no, it's Clement. And I was like, oh, I forgot Clement was a name. I don't know why. I was like, Clementine, that's the name, right? And they're like, yeah, that's the girl version, dude. And I was like, oh, okay.
Little Clementine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
pretty a name, Mo.
It's a good name. I like it. Just just funny to think of. I like how you said his human name as well.
Come on, man. We're creatures of the internet here.
We're
hanging out in an event. We're all having drinks in a bar. We're like, hey, Wardi, what's up, PiG? People are like, what the hell are these guys like? Talking about? These guys all have really weird nicknames, man.
It's funny because I say IRL all the time, right? It's like, oh, I'm busy IRL today. It's like, well, kind of streaming is my IRL thing as well, but like, basically like anything away from StarCraft is IRL. That's something I say a lot. Is Reaper gets the probe. So probe goes down. A little bit of harassment initially from Creator. Clem's scouting, so playing fairly safe. The Nexus is down, and Creator's going to pop down to Stargate. And I like this because I hope... I've not told them what to do or anything. I believe these guys are good to kind of figure out their own thing and do what they want to do. But I really put them on this map kind of hoping for Terran that you could maybe just play Phoenix Colossus against, slowly go to carriers, and just play that kind of style, because I feel like that's the style which I think Dream's not as good against and Clem isn't as good against. Cure, I think, is a beast playing against that, so I was kind of hoping not to find Cure here. So, like I said, I was kind of okay when it was Clem that showed up.
That is not an Adept, so Clem is going to go, oh, okay, ambush on the Adept. No, that's not going to work. Let's quickly get back in the bunker with those Marines. Reaper goes across the map, and there is a very quick second and third barracks. So Clem's playing really solid here. And I think he'll be pretty happy about that, because if you're going for a quick Widow Mine drop, Hellion drop, you're committing really hard to that up against a Stargate play, Oracle into Phoenix. It's just not the best. They have so much vision. But with this play, you're going to get so many units out that you can start threatening on the map, right? The 3-rack so early, it's like, oh, I'm moving around the map. You don't know if I'm going to commit or not. Keep things, very questionable. And if there's a question mark in Creator's head, he can't do that Protoss thing where they go one Oracle straight to Colossus, and then they don't build a single gateway unit until they've got 8 gates.
Yep, no, I actually like the build of Clem a lot. It gives him access on the map with the support of the factory. Some very scary pushes you can do with this against Stargate specifically, right? Where you get a single Cyclone out, and then you got the few Marines coming through. And that just push can go so well if you get rid of the Oracle early, for example. So this should force Creator, like you say, into a few gateway units before you begin to tech up. There's the extra gates. He is looking towards a third base, but he really just wants to get into this main right now, see the full setup, and he's even going to see a factory lifting off. So that's actually really cool info, because now he knows there's no factory unit basically coming out beyond what could have been an initial Widow Mine or so. And so, yeah, he's probably pretty happy with that. Knows this is very much so about the bio build.
Absolutely. Has his own robo on the way. Third and fourth gas, so I think Creator's going to go straight to Colossus off of this, and no third base just yet. So it is going to be not a crazy fast third, not a super late one either, somewhere middle of the road, of course. For Clem, he's got the +1 upgrade started before going into any medevac production, and Creator really dawdling on that third base. He played so safe with the 3 gateways, the Phoenix building, and hasn't really found any value out of these units. So economically, I'm loving Clem's build right now, but this is the point where, of course, Terran gets a little inflexible, because you're kind of spending all your money building bio medevac for a bit. It's hard to squeeze a third base in, but the longer you delay it, the more you need to get some damage done.
Yep, absolutely is this Oracle. Just trying to find a bit more info. I actually like that Revelation of the Marine, because as it walks down, it gives you a little bit more info, and it doesn't risk the Oracle. So if you're going to do anything, it is better than do nothing at all, I suppose. The Phoenix are lingering and thinking, hey, do we have an opportunity to do much? Answer is no, not really. You guys just got to sit back for a bit, and Creator is playing safe enough at home. He's getting his Immortal out. He's making sure he's got that to buffer any sort of attack Clem might go for, while moving into the Robobait, the Forge, and the Future Tech, which should set him up nicely into the mid-game. As Clem waiting for his first 2 medevacs, and once they start moving out, let's see what direction they're going to go in, because that's going to tell you a lot about what's about to go on. And the Phoenix are lurking on the top side, so if they were able to find those medevacs, the Oracle, did it see it? I'm not 100% sure. I think the medevacs have just slipped by.
No, he sees it. Spots them leaving. Yeah, well done, well done. Nice. Clem will have to unload here. Phoenix can't really fight that at all, but very important to spot that. If that snuck into his main base, that could have done some big damage. And you can see Clem is now just going to shove through the middle. As I said, the power of the 3-Rex is keep your opponent guessing about what you're up to. Shield batteries have to get put down. Already one in the natural, now one in the third. Twilight Council has not even begun. Remember that you've got Phoenix, you've got Colossus as creator. You can't even afford the Viagra upgrade for the Colossus. You definitely can't afford a Twilight or a charge. You have to hug batteries. You have to play a very immobile game. And if at any point, say you lose all your Phoenix, Clem's just going to have a field day. He's going to drop you to death. You won't be able to deal with the mobility.
Yep, no, it's really important for Creator to keep these units up and alive, keep a vision on the map, know where Clem is coming from, because if he doesn't, that's when Clem is just, like you say, he's going to have an absolute field day, he's going to absolutely monster mode it, and yeah, that's the real strength of Clem. But when you take that strength away, force him into that later game, Clem is still very good there, as Oracle playing with fire. Clem is still very good there, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that is probably the weakest part of his PvT, as this has potential to obviously drop up into the main, but a little too risky for Clem, and he is just going to back it up again. The Oracle paying dividends right now, just so good with that revelation.
Creator is a turtle god, man. He's honestly at his comfort zone with his head pulled into his shell saying, come and fight me on my terms, mate. This is Creator's sort of game. Like, he plays every game just in this really defensive stance. There's some players, you look at this position, you say, oh, bad spot, really bad spot. Oh, Clem, be careful. Be careful, Clem.
Clem? Yeah, he's just kind of sitting there, and he's going to lose a few units because the Phoenix can lift as well. Oh, but there's a Widow Mine drop that kills 10 probes. Oh. Wow, I mean, good distraction from Clem, right? Like, he's almost like, hey, yeah, fight me. And then Creator's like, oh, yeah, I really want to fight you. So he pays all the attention to that, and then 10 probes go down, which really makes up for the few units that Clem lost out on.
Okay, that Widow Mine should go down there, and indeed it will. But they'd already done their job. 5 kills on each of those Widow Mines. Viking count is now building, as is the bio count. Ghost Academy coming in as well. Clem playing a very generic style, not feeling he needs to change anything. And with Charge now coming in, +2 for Creator as well. And a 4th base, the 2nd eBay, and the Armory, on the other hand, for Clem.
Yeah, Trey just needs to get that work account back up. He's at 66, which is 3 base saturation, but he's readying up for his 4th base as well. And just keep that economy going so you can really get maxed out here. Clem doesn't take an overwhelming lead or anything, especially as all of his tech comes up, right? He's getting into Vikings, he's getting into Ghosts. These next couple fights are scary on both sides. Anyone can take a bad couple of EMPs, anyone can take a bad move forward, doesn't quite get the Vikings in position. It becomes very tough here as, again, for Creator, I feel like the one thing he's struggling with right now is he's trying to think, hey, where are you at again? Because he's kind of lost track of where Clem was moving with going to chase down the mines, so he's just not quite sure where the army is, and there's a couple Widow Mines there. He sees them, and he dodges out of the way, which is nice, as the Phoenix really are just hunting for anything that might be down that right side of the map, but Clem is coming straight up through the center.
Colossus into Storm. How often do you see that, dude? That's so weird, isn't it? That's really unique. Very, very annoying, because you don't expect it. So it definitely can surprise you, but he'll see the High Templar soon. He sees one of them in there anyway. Another one to morph into an Archon. That's a super early overcharge. I don't think Clem wants to fight. I really feel like he's just sharking right now. He's got 2-2 and a 4th base on the way. He's going to look for efficient trades, but he's not going to force the issue here.
No, he really doesn't need to. The super battery was popped a little bit early from Creator. Maybe doesn't mean too much because, like you say, Clem probably isn't looking for a big fight, but one of those things where Creator's maybe just feeling a little bit on edge. The good news is, because this attack hasn't happened yet, maybe he does indeed get up to that Storm before Clem actually is able to take a fight. He's going to scan, he's going to see that there is going to be a High Templar there. It feels like a feedback, an EMP is just waiting to happen on this army, as it's all clumped up in the corner, and a Colossus already going down. These Vikings are having a good time, and there's not really anything to protect the Colossus.
No battery overcharge as well. So many units going down. Colossus and Phoenix getting hammered. Storm hits the Vikings, but they've already done their job. There's only one yellow hit point Colossus left. Clem is on the right side with a drop that's taking out the Templar Archives as well right now. This is an awesome situation for Clem, who's just trying to bait Creator out into the open. The Templar Archives goes down, Wardi, and it looks like despite defending so cleanly all game, Clem is just going to overwhelm.
He just didn't have an answer to the Vikings at all, and he was just so pushed into a corner, and the Vikings just able to lurk around this high ground. So they can just get free shots off, basically, and yeah, I mean, obviously that's kind of the risk of going into Storm. Like, he didn't play a lot of Stalkers, he didn't play too many Phoenix, right? And so when it came to this, he had no contest to just how many Vikings Clem had out, which I think is maybe what caught Creator off guard, that Clem just had so many Vikings already, perhaps? Because he really just did not have an answer in place, unless he really was just hoping it was going to be Storm, and then it just didn't work out. It's obviously not good. He's got a Disruptor or 2 coming out right now. He's going to need some big Disruptor shots to save him here, absolutely, but Clem sees them with the scan ahead, playing very carefully, is obviously not going to let this game fall away to just a single disruptor as easily as that.
And he's repairing all of his Vikings, playing super efficiently as Clem, picking off sentries, units here and there. Ghost does go down to that disruptor, so not too bad. Trying to take a 5th base on the left side is Creator. He's finally adding Blink for a little bit of anti-Viking power, but he's just focused mostly, and he's building 1 Colossus up again. I feel like he should be focusing purely on disruptors and whatnot. I mean, Creator's still close to max, and I've seen him make comebacks from here before, man.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the position. Obviously, it's definitely advantageous to Clem. Clem not going for the 5th base, I feel like, is going to give Creator a chance. The fact he might be able to get that up is big, but Clem's going to go stimming forward. Don't hate it if you can get the units into the fight, but this Viking count, man, like, I don't disagree. The Colossi kind of feel like a bit of a waste when there's just so many Vikings still up, and you don't really have an answer to them because he doesn't have Storm, because he hasn't been able to warp in any High Templar.
Yeah, another Colossus falls. These Vikings working their magic 3-3 upgrades. Cloak for the Ghost is on the way, +2 ship weapons. A 6th command center building right now for Clem. He doesn't know about that 5th base on the top left, but he's been doing so well in the head-to-head fights, it almost feels like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that he's got a 5th base up. Obviously, that's always going to be a good thing, but yeah, I mean, does it, like you say, does it really matter? The Vikings are still hunting for that last Colossus, and then I guess maybe the Vikings are dead weight, but 2 more Colossi are on the way out anyway, so these Vikings seem to always have a target. And behind this, Clem is building into Liberators, which does mean that he's going to be able to get those libs out. And finally, Clem scans the left side, and he's like, oh, right, you're over there. But now he knows how drawn out Creator is. He's probably going to be able to abuse that too.
Yeah, he only needs to send 1 or 2 units over there to deny that mining, really. Vikings once again with position, avoiding the disruptor shots. Another Colossus falls without really having a chance to answer. Creator is still dead set on rebuilding the Colossus, but the Vikings are just never overextending. The Viking efficiency has been insane. We've lost 4 Vikings for 5 Colossus. That's a trade I'll take any day as a Terran player, Wardi.
No, the efficiency is disgusting in favor of Clem. We're going to start losing a few probes here and there as it's a Liberator around the back of that base that we were mentioning before. Disruptor shots really need to find something. Clem has been so meticulous about making sure he just doesn't stay in range of those for long enough. And, well, Creator's maybe going to start jumping on this himself right now. He does have the Stalkers to maybe get rid of the Vikings, but that's just not happening in time. So once again, the Colossi are dying. And, yeah, this is a decent fight, mostly because the Ghost was so out of energy. My goodness, that was obviously terrifying. I felt the Disruptor was about to hit the Zealots. As we are going to get a bit of a chase down. He's already used his blink, though. I mean, I guess this is Creator's chance to move, but this lib's coming up.
But there's a lib on the very bottom base that missed siege, so it's just out of range of those minerals, and that's such a bummer. That's wasted supply. Right now, Clem needs to get his forces together, and he needs to play really carefully. He's way too far out front. A huge mistake. He's going to lose his Liberators. Clem, let's go. This is a terrible move. He's got to gather his defenses. Creator is going for an all-in. He's got to pull the boys and gather his defense together. He cannot rush into this fight. He has to pull back.
Creator just second-guessed himself on the Disruptor. He could have had anything, but he went right in the middle of the 2 different armies, so great start from Creator, but now not looking as pretty. He needs to turn this around. He's still got a lot of units he can pick off there, it feels like. This army of Clem doesn't feel overly powerful.
The libs, though. There's so many libs coming out, dude. They're building 6 at a time right now.
Yep.
This is like 6 super mobile siege tanks that cannot be hit except by anti-air damage. And because of that, he survived that one dangerous moment. The disruptor count is still good. He's going to need big balls once again, though. And with only 4 disruptors against a guy like Clem, you need a lot more than that to ever land.
Oh my goodness, that disruptor might have been able to do it. I actually feel like Creator really doubted himself on these disruptors sometimes, because sometimes he's been heading towards a big shot and then he like dives the other way and ends up hitting nothing at all. This is not going to work. Clem is going to be able to take it down. He's going to put the War Pigs in the lead. And the Stasis Wardis are really not having a good time yet again.
What can I say, mate? I am a little disappointed because this does look like it's going to be hard to take that 8th place / winning position off of you, as the Australian lore does tell us. But honestly, it's not over till it's over in terms of the overall series. And did Creator second guess himself a little, but remember, it is Western US server. They're both playing with significant amount of delay, and when you've got so much pressure on you and you suddenly need to force it to happen, it's very hard to actually do so. So Clem, being the player who's a bit more active as the attacker, potentially getting to take a bit more advantage of the...
I feel like his EVT is good enough to overcome Curious. Yeah, we just knew he needed to pick up a big win. Was hoping that maybe he'd get Clem and Cure, then deliver on the day, and he found Cure at least.
Indeed. It's gonna be, of course, going into Curious Minds. It's a Zerg versus Terran. I do like having the Terran player on this map, of course. It is gonna be in the bottom right. Pretty in pink. In the pink, befitting a War Pig. About to be promoted to a Boar if he wins this one. This is Cure. Of course, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming as well as the War Pigs. We have hired him. He's our mercenary for today.
And the top left, now I like green Zerg, is going to be Solar, who has had some ups and downs so far in the event, and has had some tough draws. He had to play against Rogue, but lost some very winnable games too. That's put the Stasis Wardies in a little bit of a tough spot, and like I say, if we end up losing this map, which would mean that we lose this series, then we are potentially just out of the tournament. You know, there's no guarantees we can get through with a 3-match win score, even if we win afterwards, so yeah, this is almost tournament life on the line. Like I say, not quite, but we'd really like to stay in it.
Indeed, dude. It's a tense moment, you know. It's like, dude, you really want to get there and win these matches, and it's surprising how much you can get into it over the course of it. But definitely a hard task for Solar. Now, I was talking yesterday, right? I think it was with Cats. I was saying how I've been nitpicking Solar and backseating him and messaging him after I cast his games, and I'm like, bro, why do you guys always build 6 Zerglings against Terran? It's unnecessary, man. On this map, it's actually okay if they build a Reaper, but this is a reactor first for Cure. And that's why if he builds 4 to 6 Zerglings blind, it's very bad, because Q is not even planning to build Reapers here. So let's see if Solar has listened to my whining about the inefficiency of Korean Zerg openings. I'm basically Lambo's mouthpiece in his ear, and waits to see a Reaper, or does he blind commit to 6 Zerglings? Let's see.
Yeah, but it's just going to be 4 for now, and we'll see if he wants to go for anything extra, as we do have the Marines popping out and just going straight to extra barracks. We know Q likes to do this on this map, right? Short map. Walk across with a low marine count, get some damage done very early. It's something Q is very good at, and really pioneered this 3-rack style on this map, and just small maps like this.
I think it's not a good style. I think a lot of Zergs play really dumb against it, and I'm really hoping Solid continues that trend that we've seen in recent months. I really feel it's obviously if you can deny them scouting it, it's not bad. But so much hinges on you not getting kind of surrounded, and it is against good creep spread with no medevacs for so long. It's very dangerous. And already seeing 2 Marines, seeing no Reaper. Solar did skip the last 2 Zergs, and now he's going to go for a Ling Flood. A very cute way to take advantage of a greedy opening if they're going to go for, say, like a medevac drop and just 2 or 3 Hellions. But this is 3 racks, which means the Marine production picks up pretty fast. Is it fast enough, though?
I don't think
so. To stop this Ling Flood.
Especially not if you start moving out on the map. These Marines need to be up on the high ground and hidden away like you would with the 2-1-1. I like this a lot for Solar so far. He's starting to rally Marines into like the corner behind the depot. That's his rally point at least, but he's currently moving around with a few Marines trying to see what can be done. Link speed kicking in a moment, and Solar is going to put so much on this, because if it doesn't do damage, he's in so much trouble. He's invested so much. These Lings need to all run in together. They need to grab the surround on these Marines and make it happen. Q moves forward. Now he's going to start pulling back, tries to get to the ramp. SCV's pull. The Lings get a bit of a surround. Oh, it's not really enough, is it? It's not working.
No. There's still a lot of Zerglings there, but with the mineral line and the SCV pulls, Q should be fine. He can rebuild these units very well. I love the way he pulls the SCVs to fight, but anytime when it looks like he's okay, he just pulls them back. And so many SCVs damaged, but so few going down. And the depots at the front, the Marines, from the moment it hit 3 minutes 25 when Ling speed could be finished, he pulled them back to a very safe location. That there is, of course, him being respectful and playing safe, despite this being such a niche option that Solar went for. The Ling Flood there is a big gamble. It's not something you expect. Just shows that Cure was playing super safe. He wasn't taking any risks.
Yeah, I almost felt like he didn't have enough Marines, right? Because when he got up that ramp, there's barely anything. He went for the surround. There was only 2 Marines that got around, or 2 Lings that got around the back. Yeah,
it's all about that wraparound, isn't it, on the ramp? If you get the surround, you can kill the Marines, the damage output disappears, bam, you're doing it. But if the Marines get a solid wall on the ramp, which he didn't quite get, but he did hold position with only the narrowest edge that, like you said, those 2 Zerglings got through, it makes it just so hard for the Zerg. And now he's going to come on forward. Overlords are up on the pillars. Baneling Nest is making 20 more Zerglings. Are making the Queens are going to try to gather up, but the Marines are still going to be very scary. There's no transfusers here, Wardi. The third base looks very exposed.
Yep, it doesn't look too hot right now as these Marines move forward. They get a little bit of creep spread, and just going to see the Queen's just trying to get something done. But combat shields finish, man. I mean, these Marines can just do so much if they want to, and they just have so much control of the map already. And what can Solo do? I mean, pull the Queens forward and fight a little bit. He has to be really careful, because one stim and you're in a bad position, you can't get away, then you're in trouble. Kyo plays this very well, just threatening, and then moves to the watchtower, keeps his units safe. Obviously would like to get even more support for these before he really takes a fight, maybe even medevacs, and just builds up into a great little spot while Solo trails behind. And Lair on the way, but obviously very late Lair, considering nothing else is being invested in right now, so Bane speed's going to be very late, and he's going to be fighting with slow Banes against this army for quite some time, as I don't even think these Lings can take a fight if they wanted to.
A little bit of a preemptive stim there for Kyo. He just wants to make sure he keeps these alive. Doesn't care too much about damaging stuff with them, going into tanks and more bio here. It's turning into a little bit of a two-base all-in almost. For Command Center doesn't go down really soon. I mean, Kyo is very committed to two bases. I love the double depot wall that he's been doing, by the way. That is so cute. It's obviously, it's like, hey, you got to build depots anyway. You might as well make yourself more resistant to those Baneling run-bys.
Yep, no, I mean, just taking all precautions, right, making sure you're going to be in as good a position as possible. So, I mean, you can see the timing, the +1 carapace. It's not a bad choice when you're playing against 3 racks, but it's so late with how the game opened up. So that's not going to be done. Bane speed ain't going to be done. And this push really has game-ending potential from Kyo, who moves forward, cleans some creep, gets his first tank siege. Solo's going to need a hell of a fight, and honestly, a bit of a miraculous fight here. He's going to need some Marines to forget how to split.
Yep. It's a lot of Marines. The creep is receding in this northern area. He's going to try and stim some of the Marines forward. Gets rid of those 2 tumors at the very least. Still some tumors quite far forward. Wants to bait Solar into a bad fight. Those Marines a little bit too far forward on the top. They have to pick up and get out of there. And this is actually a decent fight for Solar, it looks like.
Yeah, if you can keep it up. Obviously, these Marines, there's too many of them to lift into medevacs, so some of them will go down no matter what, and Solar will at least push this back. It still wasn't a good trade for him. It was inefficient, and that means as Kyo reinforces with larger armies, it's still potentially going to be trouble, but Kyo is only on 46 workers, so maybe, just maybe, Solo can get away with this. He's staying alive for now. He's given himself a chance at least, and obviously, I mean, for the moment, that's all we really need.
Second eBay Armory are on the way. Third Commencement is finishing up. But yeah, Kyo gave away a lot of units. I didn't really like that push. Canceling the 4th would be big, but Solar on top of it, he's got his units in position. So for Kyo, it's just going to be kill 1 or 2 Zerglings, pick up, rinse and repeat. And he does some very nice stutter step there. Does lose only 1 Marine for about 5 Zerglings. You know, it's a good trade, but it's a small trade against a Zerg that is now getting set up with a macro hatch, a 4th base. Hydra Den on the way. Still only 1 Evo chamber for Solar. And Kyo, oh man, Medevac's a little bit far back. Loses a few Marines, not too many. Most of them just getting damaged.
Yeah, Marine's going to drop on the tower and just going to be sitting out there as the Queen moving forward. Marines will move in. They're going to grab that Queen. That's going to go down. The other Queen's trying to respond out over here. And at least keeping it back a bit, but Kyo's getting that 3rd base up. His work count increasing. And obviously, on this map, you're just able to push and get really good positions set up and keep pushing because of the size of it. So that's the thing I'm worried about, is that Solo doesn't really have the control of the units to stop those positions from being set up initially. And so if he can't stop those from getting set up initially, I feel like he's just going to run into trouble. Even if he can get a good army out and all the rest of it, the positions can be so powerful.
+2 armor now starting up for Kyo, so he will maintain an upgrade advantage. Going to be up about 1 upgrade for the next little while. Solar, though, is up on 74 workers. He's very good at hanging on in the late game. And Kyo, he doesn't have a 2nd factory. He doesn't have a 4th command center. Not a lot of things leading into a late game. He just has a good tank Marine count right now against a Solar that, of course, had a rough start, and so doesn't have that big of a bank of Banelings. His upgrades aren't that great. It's going to be about the position. He cannot push too many Marines on creep like he did earlier. Earlier, he pushed about 30 Marines on creep. That's what screwed him up in that big fight.
Yep, he's just going to be very patient here. Sieging the tanks in that tower, getting rid of the creep, giving Solo as little as possible to work from. He's even adding Liberators in, which is very scary because it's a game going to reinforce this position right here. And Kyo knows one of his biggest weaknesses to this is going to be a counterattack, and so he's left a good amount of defense at home. So the 3rd base isn't even vulnerable as Ling's looking for a wraparound, but there's so many medevacs. If Kyo doesn't want to fight this, he doesn't have to, but now the Lings get on top of the tanks. So maybe we get a little bit of a tank cleanup. I think we're still losing Banelings to be able to do this, so it's not exactly cheap. And Solar is going to, again, push this back maybe, but again, it's all coming at a cost, and Kira is trading twice as effectively as Solar has been.
He is, but with only one factory still, I do think there's a very urgent need to get that second factory down. He starts it now out at the front at his third base or fourth command center that's almost halfway done. I mean, Kira has a good economy. He's trading well. The scary thing is the hive is on the way, and if you're this far behind on infrastructure now, I mean, you do need to get a move on with Cure. You've got to keep trading, keep Solar pinned back on this base count. I do love the double left in the bottom left side. This is going to make things very hard for Solar, but once again, way too many Marines, too deep on creep. I am not too sure about Cure's positioning in this game. I like the pre-spread. This is a bit of a better setup.
Yeah, Solar's going to fight. At the same time, those libs you mentioned are sieging them. The picture-in-picture as the Link Bane runs on through. Needs to get on top of these tanks and clean this out. Otherwise, he's going to be in a ton of trouble, and he will push the tanks back and then just retreat towards creep play, slow and defensive from there. But yeah, no support down on that bottom left, so those libs are just going to sit there, deny man, and Solar already only 66 drones. It's not pretty to then have drones AFK on top of it.
Indeed. Cure's, I think, doing enough now. He does have a second factory with the tech lab. Fourth command center is going down. His army is still almost entirely Marines, but he's become much more efficient after that first big mistake, stepping too deep on creep. And I think a rotate into the main would be perfect at this point. As Solar, you just can't cover every angle. And look at this push on the bottom. Very nice. Find some Hydras in the open.
Things at least getting around to protect the Hydras a little bit. We're going to push in towards the libs, which are actually going to unsiege. And now a medevac gets picked off full of units. Ooh. We are losing the top side expansion, but I mean, Solar's playing a game of just give what you're, take what you're given, I suppose. So if you're not allowed that base, you're not allowed it. You've just got to play around it. That's the way that this game is set up at the moment.
And that's exactly what Solar's trying to do. His lurker upgrades, of course, are not on the way just yet. He's got a hive, but hasn't been able to get to that stage of the game. Units still just picking up here for Cure, not letting them go down. Cure, he's still slightly down in supply despite trading so well this whole time. And the tank count back up to 5 siege tanks at this point. Planetary is up on that fourth base, sending a new Liberator down the south side, or I think that's the remaining Liberator from earlier. Triple Barracks and a Ghost Academy will probably be coming down soon after that, as the Lurker Den goes down for Solar. And I guess if you look at this, Solar is getting all the tech, but you've been pointing it out time and again. 68 workers is crap. There's very little creep spread as well. So it's a very fragile position for Solar.
I mean, Solar's not got that bank, which you kind of need as a Zerg, right? All your fights usually are take one fight, rebuild and go again, but he's just not set up to do that at all. There's going to be a lib on the left side, these few Marines in the center. Going to be getting a combination of damage done, clearing some creep, killing some drones off as Solar. And needs to just be careful who he sends all his units to.
Oh, yeah, that lib is going to pull away from there for now. Still being just a nuisance, does get shut down now by the Hydras and this Queen. And Vipers, of course, can always be game changers. I feel like a few Blinding Clouds in the right spot can always change the course of Zerg vs. Terran, especially against Marine Tank. And Cure's Marine Tank army, I mean, Blinding Cloud is just game changing. It can cause Marines to A-move into Banelings like dumbasses. It can obviously hit the tanks if they're in a clump. It's still a very scary army for Solar, and I gotta say, Q has done a lot in this game, but he still needs to deny this 5th base, and this big push is very important.
Yeah, no, this big push is going to be able to get a good position, perhaps, and it's going to hit just before Lurkers are really ready to go. You know, we've got the Lurker Den up, but we don't have any of the upgrades yet, so he's not really morphed any Lurkers in. This is just going to be a Lingbane Hydra Swarm with the Viper support. To try and shut this down, Solar's going to have to try and make it happen. He's obviously going to end up fighting off creep. Here we go. These Blind Clouds need to be really good, and he's going to just be kind of slow to hit them. Finally gets them down. I just don't know if it's enough. We need to get rid of these tanks before these Blind Clouds disappear. Otherwise, this is going to happen where the tanks will just shred everything else. I mean, we're going to clean up more or less. We're going to get everything, but again, I asked myself at what cost. I guess it wasn't too bad, considering the efficiency was already against Solar going into that fight.
That was, yeah, I think, honestly, they were great Blinding Clouds. Some of the Marines did derp into those Banelings as a result of that. And there was no counter damage at the same time. Solar's now on 87 workers. If he can respread a bit of creep, he's actually in this with an absolute chance to take it down. The supply is still dead even. And Solar is pissing me off with his tenacity right now. Can you just get out, bro? You were down 2 upgrades in that fight. It's 3-3 versus 2-1-2. You've got trash upgrades. Just die, mate. Q is working hard for this. Just let him finish you off, bro.
Yeah, there's a little bit of bio just sitting on the top side of the watchtower, as we do have V-Bio on the bottom from Q, taking another base. That's the issue for Solar, right? Q's just taking base after base, and every time a base comes up, he just gets that boost in eco that Solar's not really being able to match or overtake like you usually expect to. Too many units already down here. He nearly caught the medevac, but not quite, and Lurker's at least defending on the top side. Obviously, finally nice to get those Lurkers into play. That's going to be a big part of Solar being able to really close this out later on here.
Drop in the bottom left should be able to get this hatchery snipe. Wardi is, of course, exceptional at taking out buildings. And that's very important to keep Solar off this base. It's very nice. He's only got 5 bases up right now and available. Several of them already half mined out. The main almost completely mined out at this point. And that medevac gets that hatchery cancelled for free. The ghost count, where is that at? It has not started. There we go. First ghosts now starting up along with Cloak. Building armor is about to finish. He's already got high-sec auto tracking. Gives range to, of course, missile turrets as well as planetary fortresses.
Nice little parasitic bomb going to kill off that drop in the bottom left. Obviously, that medevac is low, so it's guaranteed to die. The Lings were camping just in case. It tried to unload. I mean, Solo, as he gets Adaptive Talons, maybe this would be one of the better times he has, simply for the fact, like you say, the ghosts are only just starting, so maybe you go now and try and find something, but he also only has 6 lurkers. He's not like he's got a monstrous amount that can be in a super crazy good position, as he's really going to just fight to stay in this as best he can.
Okay, lots of barracks are now up. Many tech labs being added onto the initial, mostly reactor layout of them. Here we go, giant YOLO for Solar. He's only got 2 blinding clouds available, but he shoves right up the guts. A crazy move.
Yeah, he's just going to go diving for this. The Balins need to find something, though. There's so many of them that just aren't really hitting anything just yet as he gets up the ramp. Even if he could just get them into the mineral line, but the tank's going to get rid of most of them, and he doesn't have enough lurkers to sit around here after. I mean, he gets rid of a lot, though. He's going to burrow, and the lurkers will survive, and he takes a supply lead coming out of this. Maybe this is actually happening for the moment. He needs to back up and get reinforcements, though. I mean, that's obviously something he has to slow down for. That's not bad, because Q is going to take a little while to rebuild. Obviously, mostly here, Solo needs a few more Banelings as well, and he will morph those in along with 5 extra lurkers.
Cure right now is actually trailing by 40 supply. He's got good ghost production, but he lost his second factory, and so he's rebuilding that in the back now. Factory at the front always seems nice, but it's a little iffy. A couple lurkers do get taken out by snipes there. Nice moves by Cure. Got to get those ghosts out of there, though.
Yep, absolutely.
Dude, this is still a very scary shove. He's going to go again?
Yep, he's just going to go for it one more time. The tanks are a big part of this, right? They need to stop a lot of these units getting through, but the Vipers find the blind cloud out of 2 out of 3. And so Solar pushing forward is going to take down a bunch of tanks. The Marines are taking a lot of damage as well. Lurkers unburrowing, sieging further forward, and Q is not able to stay alive. And Solar, he was always walking a tightrope in this game, but suddenly he is just going to be marching through, and this base is going to be denied. There's going to be an attempt to nuke. That's Solar's biggest weakness. He burrows more lurkers on top of the nuke. Okay, we're moving away. Good.
Man, in the double planetary in the bottom, that's kind of tilting. This is the base he chose to put all of his defenses into, and that is not where Solar hit. Now Solar's going to try and zone it out. A bit of a dangerous move being caught between those planetaries. A few lurkers did go down, but he's still got so much Ling Hydra. A nice cloak to keep some of these ghosts alive, trying to stutter step it out, but Cure just does not have the numbers, and Solar hung on like a champ in this game. He just survived, fought from behind, and Cure was not able to finish him off. This is a testament to Solar's abilities, his tenacity as a player. Very impressive to see the way he's dragged his ass back into this game.
Yeah, he really did as well. Like, he was in such a tough spot. I was going to say, Q, you're dropping SCVs on top of this lurker. I'm not sure that's going to help. He will get some Marines out of this medevac in the end, as it looks. I mean, there's a lot of SCVs on this base. He's going to try and send another lurker around the corner and try and work with that. Q is sending a drop out as well. And just Solar waiting to be maxed out before going again. Have as much as possible to once again just go for these swarming pushes. And Q is just, like you said, not being able to hang on. But at least now he's got himself a lot more ghosts. Maybe that can make a difference if he can sit back on the tanks and Solar continues to just throw units at him.
Nah.
Maybe that's
Solar's a bit too smart, though. He's on pure Ling now. I mean, he's got 10 lurkers left over, but he's not going to rebuild those. He's just going to make pure Ling Bane Hydra. And Ghosts just don't do that well, Versa. A lot of people complain about Ghosts. They're so expensive. They're so slow to build. They aren't going to stop that. That is an avalanche of Zerg. Tanks on the high ground going to try to help. Some of them getting abducted. This position's being busted. The Ghosts do deal with the Lurker on the bottom, but they're not here to help in the middle.
Nope. They are not, and Soul is going to maintain good supply. Probably going to see send a couple of lurkers up the right side, but they're going to die to a tank, so that wasn't quite the split off, but he is going to make a move down the left side. This base has been stopped from mining. Now time to actually get rid of it, I think, because it's, yeah, it's still up, and it's still scary if you let that kind of get going once again when you have the chance to get rid of it. He really doesn't want to dive into the double planetary, which is understandable. Soul just sits here. If the units move into position to defend this, obviously he's just going to move his army into intercept, and he's actually almost thinking about going for it anyway. The planetary in location goes down, the lurkers is going to move up a little bit, and yeah, continues to just choke you out. He unsieges his tanks at an unfortunate moment just as Solar decides to actually move forward. Nice EMP though, does land on the Viper. Solar's not going to run up that ramp at least, and Kyo will again continue to just try and hold on for dear life.
Yeah, that is indeed all he's doing. The Banelings say no escape for you. The Drilly boys unable to get away from that southern base. And you know what? GG, very well played by Solar. A well-deserved comeback there. Nice play.
Wow. I mean, he was not in a good position for the entirety of the game.
And I copied a lot of builds off him and learned how he played. So I have a lot of respect for him, but I do think they're very evenly matched.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a tough one no matter what, but that's a really quick probe on the map, so we'll see what's going to happen. Is in the bottom left, the Stasis Wardi is classic.
And his opponent, he's been playing very greedy so far in this league. I hope he does mix it up to make himself unpredictable. In the bottom right, it's a good game gamer. He's the goodest of gamers. He's good at gaming. He's a war pig. It's Dream. Oh, so this is just the Zest probe scout. Okay.
Yeah, just the I want to annoy the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Probe.
Delay your barracks by a second, force it towards the back, you know, check that I'm not being proxied. It's not a bad move.
Yeah, I like it. You know, when I play, this is the thing I hate the most. Like probes nibbling my SCVs. I know it's so simple. I know it's really not hard to deal with. I hate it with a passion. It annoys me so much. So yeah. I'm already annoyed at my play just because I have to watch this a little bit.
You know, as I always am a big fan, Terran's Protoss doesn't matter. I always pull an extra SCV, and like when it goes behind the minerals, I try to like get an extra hit on it. You know, I pull an extra SCV, get the hit, and I put the other guy back to mining, and I keep like rotating them in and out just to get extra hits here and there. And I'm like, I will waste those 15, 20 minerals to try to corner that probe, dude. I'm totally fine with it. You know, I get really annoyed. People on my stream can of course attest to the fact that when he's doing the mineral steal thing in PvZ, I literally just screech, "They're not your minerals! Leave, you little shit!" But he just keeps regenerating those shields and he never leaves, man. Protoss players just have no respect for other people's property.
Yeah, that's going to be this probe still being annoying. Actually blocking the CC a serious amount of time there, and in the end, that's actually one hex out of place as well. So this probe has been really annoying. It's been a pretty good time. And just little, I mean, it had to do something for how early the scout was, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's a Captain Dickhead. That's my nickname for any worker that is given an inordinate amount of attention to the point where it's like, it's never cost efficient directly, right? Because you lose so much more mining time getting across the map. But it's just there to annoy your opponent. Like, it's just there to get Wardi on the ladder triggered. Like, why are you freaking zapping me, man? That's its whole job. Mission achieved, mission accomplished. Dream is going to come in with a Reaper, though, and going to see if he can find some damage. Doesn't risk hanging around. He sees that gateway being chronoed, and he's like, yeah, let's just play it safe.
Hey, Big, I'm just wondering, you know, now that you've beaten Roddy, do you want to just give me this map? Because I really need it. You don't need it as much anymore. I just feel like it might be the nice thing to do, you know? Just
well, you know, Dream doesn't have any self-respect, and you know, he said, "I'm your bitch pig. Tell me what to do. Be my daddy." If I told him to, he'd definitely just instantly throw a match. Koreans don't look down on that behavior at all.
I was gonna say as badly as that. Just, you know, maybe Dream can.
Well, to be fair, Dream's being super. I was like, he's got to mix it up and not be too predictable. I'm going to shout at Dream after this match, and I'm going to be like, well played, congrats. I was really impressed how you beat Classic with Mass Battlecruiser in the late game in Blackburn. You've now played 3CC literally every TVP you've played in the league. Can we mix it up a little bit, buddy? I don't think we can keep doing the same build every game, man.
Well, Classic's gone Stargate, so it really depends what kind of Stargate he wants to play, because if he goes into Phoenix from here, then it's not exactly ideal. He's going to go for a second Oracle. That I don't mind as much as we have Slow Reaper versus Slow Oracle in the middle. Oracle's just going to let that go, wants to get across the map. He really wants to know what's going on, and I don't disagree. Get in there, realize that it's a third CC if you can, see that it's barracks behind it too, and just know what your opponent's going for, because not that only is this like a good economy, it can still pack a punch. Yeah, a bit later than usual, but it will still pack a punch with the bio play after.
The 3 racks definitely is very scary as a follow-up to this. Of course, actually, sorry, I said 3 racks. Oh, yeah, that is a third racks building as well, right?
Yep.
So it's 2 very quick racks, and then the third one, there is like a factory version of this, right? 2 racks into factory. But yeah, this is just a 3 racks follow-up. It's a meaty army, and the Marines are well split to defend. Now, I do think it's a very good build against Stargate, because you get ahead economically, but he was not expecting a second Oracle. Classic with the surprise double Oracle commitment. Catches him off guard.
Yeah, gets a few more SCVs. I was going to say good pull away from Dream, though, because he pulled the 2 herd
the Reaper
SCVs
didn't
away.
get the probe?
Oh, no?
He did get the probe at the third, though. So
okay.
he did deny
That's
the
nice.
third. That's something.
Classic's doing what he did against Maru. He's going up to 4 Oracles, and it's obviously very aggressive. It's very glass cannon. You jump in, you can do a ton of damage very quickly. But the Oracles also die very quickly, so it's very risky. And against Maru, he had a moment where it actually looked like he'd win the game. He killed the first Cyclone, the second Cyclone, like, nearly died, but it didn't. And then the Oracles all died, and it was a disaster. It was so close to being perfect, and with all these Adepts combined against Marines that
God.
no stim or anything, I mean, Classic's got a hell of a push here.
Oh, this is just before Stim finishes. Dream needs to pull all the Marines from the main. The SCVs have to turn to fight, but there's too many Oracles overwhelming the Marines in the natural. Coming from the main, these Marines will defend. The SCVs, not too many have died just yet, but those Oracles will rotate into the main. The Adepts pull back, the ones that are still surviving, and the Oracles being an absolute nuisance. 2 of them are going to run dry right now. One of them still has energy, but the Marines are able to defend.
Well, he's got more Adepts coming back in, so he's going to try and get rid of more Marines here. Some Marine stim from the high ground. Stalker showing up as well from Classic. He's going to keep on fighting. He shades the Adepts into the main, leaves the Stalkers to fight the Marines. The Adepts are getting more SCV kills, and Classic is taking a pretty serious lead here, Pig. Oh, I can't tell you how much it means for the Stasis Wardies to get a win. Oh, under some shitty circumstances, I won't lie, but Classic gets it done against Dream with some mega Oracle aggression.
Oof.